Okay, everybody, it's like 60 degrees, almost 60 degrees. It's absolutely beautiful out. You know, spring is whispering that it's coming. So I'm out with the Olympus OM-1 shooting some of these country roads, this old abandoned church, an old house that I found, and just having a lot of fun. And I cannot wait till spring. But this is kind of getting me excited for all the shooting that I'm gonna do this year. This is pretty crazy. This is pretty awesome. For this first photograph, I just wanted to feature the wide open sky and use those lines all throughout the photograph to pull you down this road, this seemingly endless road in the middle of nowhere in Iowa. This was taken using the OM-1's art filter applied to a JPEG, and I honestly kind of like it. It's pretty cool. I've been to this spot before, super cool spot. The light's pretty good too. The white house and the blue sky is gonna be cool, and it's the theme I'm working with today. I'm gonna go to an abandoned church not too far from here that's got really nice bright white painting with the blue sky. Should be really cool too. So I'm kind of excited. Using the OM-1 12 to 40 like I said before, and we're gonna just shoot some stuff right here, and we might even play with some of the picture styles or whatever those are called and see what we can come up with. This photo is one where I liked playing with the grainy film feature again and the camera's artistic filter modes, right? I'm used to Fuji's implementation of their fantastic film simulations, and the OM-1 definitely doesn't have that level of control, not even close. Beyond just a few options like the type of frame or having bright or darker corners, there aren't too many options here. The photo's grain, for instance, and the grainy film feature is just a little too much for me, and there's no way to fine-tune that in the camera. My recommendation is to shoot RAW plus JPEG, and if you want to change things later, you can fine-tune them a lot more in Lightroom or even OM Workspace, which is Olympus's OM Systems, not Olympus anymore, OM Systems RAW converter that actually has a lot of the art filters built in, so you can see what they look like just by having a RAW file. And honestly, like a lot of the camera makers out there, most of these modes seem a little bit more like gimmicks, and Fuji's still the king of the JPEG options. So for this photo and the next one here, these are just Lightroom adjustments because I didn't want to have the grain be so harsh. Moving on, I saw this fallen branch and I wanted to use it a bit. I don't really like these that much because the branch seems to point a little bit to the left and not at the house. Kind of takes us off the screen, away from my focal point. And also the closest foreground area just seems a little bit muddy, a little bit ugly. But you know, it is what it is. It was a little bit of a windy day, and as I got closer, I wanted to use some of the grass in the photos and feature these harsh shadows. I thought some of these were kind of cool. And I'm trying to tell the story of this home, so I keep getting a little bit closer. I love the way the trees' shadows in the evening cast some cool patterns on the home, and the broken window and the blinds brings us in. I think it continues to ask the question of what was life like in this house, and it also asks the viewer, you know, to kind of peer inside a little bit and reach maybe just a little bit closer to try to see what's inside. Many people, you know, look at the OM-1 and the 20 megapixels as if it's a bad thing, as if that sensor's bad because it's a mere 20 megapixels, but I just don't see it that way. Here's a heavy crop of the previous photo, and you know, I can see plenty of detail here, even really, really cropped tight. The combination of the sensor in the OM-1 and the 12 to 40 seems really, really strong. This shot of the peeling paint on the wood was almost a throwaway shot, right? I did take some of the other textures thinking that those other pictures would be better, but this one is the one I like the most because of the dramatic contrast. And then an interior shot from the window. I don't go into these houses anymore without permission. I'm not 20, and I, you know, used to not care about that stuff. But of course, you get older and you get more knowledgeable, and you don't go do that. And I think this photograph actually shows us a little bit of the power, a little bit of the dynamic range of the OM-1. You can see details in the highlights and in the shadows. And although the interior is just a little bit grainy, it also matches the tone of the photo, and I like it. I said my goodbyes to the house and moved on. Okay, we are checking out the Ingman Church. I think it was built a long time ago. It stopped in 1956, but supposedly they still have some services here every once in a while. What a cool little spot. We got a cemetery, this white church, and then some cool blue skies. And I think it's gonna be a couple good shots here. The OM-1 matched with the 12-40 is a very good storytelling lens, just like most of the other 24 to 70-ish full frame equivalent lenses on other systems, right? It allows me to get wide, but also zoom in closer, like this photo where I was at the right angle to feature the color in the glass. And then this black and white is straight out of the camera using the grainy film picture art filter. And I like it just how it is. I like that contrast and how crunchy the grain is in this one. I wanted to keep moving around and telling more of the story. My light wasn't really great for a lot of the angles, and I still wish there were clouds in the sky. But you know what? Sometimes you can make your own luck. Like in this photo, I just added the cloud in Photoshop to go with the white paint, and I just really dig this one. I kept moving using the OM-1's ND filter to slow down my shutter speed and get a blurry shot out my window as I left, and I randomly found this old school. It wasn't really interesting, it's not crazy interesting, but I still like documenting these places. They're not gonna be around forever. And then I stopped at this little spot for the old cars, a place I've been to several times before. Here I use the OM-1 and the 12-40 to continue to tell the little story of my road trip. I really like this shot of the old car because I think the transition from in focus to the out of focus areas with this lens is really pretty. I think it's beautiful. This is, of course, the same photo, but I wanted to show you another in-camera effect. This one is the vintage art effect, and I added a frame to it. This is a straight out of the camera JPEG, and I dig this one a lot. I said earlier that most of the in-camera effects are gimmicks, but at times they can look great. They're just not quite as versatile as something like what Fuji gives us. And I shot a few more of the nice evening fading light on these cars. Just had a really nice time. If you dig this, if you have any questions, let me know below. If you have any questions that you want me to answer in the future about the OM-1 or just photography in general, let me know. I'd love to help. I love this stuff. So thanks for watching. Take care.